Plonkers, hello and welcome back to the Drewzy Yarn. We're starting this Drewzy Yarn with a bit of bad news about the podcast this week. I've had a bit of a stinker and I apologise. The interface was playing up all throughout the recording of this episode. About 60 to 65% of the podcast is the crisp microphone audio as usual, and then the other sort of 35-40% is camera audio that I've had to try enhance and play around with. So it sounds a bit weird in parts, but it's still a great yarn nonetheless. Keep showing your support. It's been very good recently. I appreciate everyone that watches it, and I hope you get around this episode because it's a very interesting one. Again, I apologize for the audio issues, but we'll be back next week with a very big, exciting episode. Stay tuned to the channel for that. But firstly, enjoy this episode with Zac Doherty. Hello, you plonkers, and welcome back today to the Drewzy Yarn, episode 9. And today, I've got the most different guest we've had so far. I've got my big friend, Zac, here. I used to go to high school with Zac. He's a bodybuilder, a coach, and just all around good bloke. Zac, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the podcast. How we doing, mate?
Good, brother. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. So yeah, we went to school together, and you left me. So
I did.
Thanks for that. I remember you saying, I think we had like a computer class together or something, and you're like, yeah, I'm leaving school. And I'm like, sick. Great. But yeah, the first time I ever remember seeing you was when we used to ball against each other down in Rocco.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Bit of domestic basketball.
Did you see me before I came to school?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
we
did.
used to play together. So I remember when you come to school, I was like, this kid used to chop me up at basketball. But yeah, you're a bodybuilder now. It's a bit of a
change, isn't it?
Massive. How do you reckon you'd go? Do you reckon you'd be a bit of a Shaq these days, or because I remember you as a sort of 3-point specialist?
Yeah. I would say if I played again today, I'd need a bit of time.
Yeah, 100%.
More so, if I gave me 2 or 3 months to get back into shape, probably move a bit nicer.
Yeah,
a bit more lateral quickness and things like that. I'll do it right.
Do you reckon you'd be able to dunk with those thick quads that you have these days?
I dunked it a few times, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Beauty.
I probably around the age of 17.
Yeah.
I had a few injuries before then.
Mm-hmm.
Got back into a lot more strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
Then wasn't obviously the weight was nowhere near it is now.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably another thing. I'd have a lot more explosiveness now, but the weight, extra 30 kilos is a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely attempt it, man.
You got the Zion Williamson build these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went to high school together. I remember one of the first things that made us bond was the NBA, and in particular, Jeremy Lin mathematics playing basketball.
Oh, I remember that.
My homie Stoudemire.
Yeah.
And then we just fucking started playing a lot of 2K.
Yeah, bro.
A lot of park.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, just run it up. No one could stop us, mate. Those are the days.
They were the days, man. Life was a lot better back then.
Yeah, a lot more
a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. I remember back in those days, you just out of nowhere started missing a lot of school. And I was like, what's going on, Zachariah? Why are you missing school, mate? And you were going through some health issues at the time. Yeah. What did you have?
I had a few things. So I think it was, what time? I think it was around March that year. Had a basketball tournament. It's called the Coburn Classic. It was in Wobble. I broke my foot. It was probably a 3rd or 4th game. I think it was the 2nd day of the tournament. In the first second, the first second of the game, the jump ball went up. I changed directions, planted my foot, snapped my 5th met.
Oh,
right off.
Rats.
I was gone.
Yeah.
And my coach was like, come on, mate. Like, you're overreacting now. Your foot's not broken. I got pulled off. And I was like, nah, it's broken. But, back then, I'd fall over all the time,
Yeah.
If I was hurt, you'd know about it back then. So, yes, it could have been overreaction, but definitely wasn't that time. I could actually feel the bone. Like, it didn't even feel the same.
Yeah, okay.
And I sat out the rest of that game. A couple of hours later, jogged around an oval just for maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Just to try and get some adrenaline, trying to get rid of the pain, smash, some Nurofen down. I was like,
She'll be right.
Fuck it, I'll be right.
Yeah.
Played the 4th game. No pain at all through the game.
Sick.
No
Happy
pain.
days. Fixed.
It was fine. And then straight away, man, 5 minutes after the game, walked outside, sat down, tournament was done. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I can't walk.
Kicked in.
Yeah. And then I'd say, recovery is around probably about 12, 14 weeks for a broken 5th met. It wasn't a straight snap.
Okay.
It was a decent fracture.
Yeah.
But I think it was probably maybe an inch off being a lot worse.
Yeah, okay.
Where it was. And around probably halfway through my recovery, my ankle just got like massive, like out of nowhere. Like it's probably be that big.
Swelling.
It's like swelling to an extreme. And he's like, I've got a broken foot. Maybe just because, I'm starting to weight bear a bit more. Body's starting to get used to it. And then it was my other ankle. Like, what the fuck is going on? And they're like,
right.
This is weird. I mean, you're on crutches on one foot the whole day as well. You could just be a bit more sensitive to having inflammation in your body. I was obviously highly stressed. Cortisol's high. I was like, yeah, okay. I'll just keep an eye on it. It was a lot of pain as well. It wasn't just inflammation. Then one day I just woke up, both wrists, just like this.
Yeah.
You couldn't see any bones in my hands, any veins. You couldn't see my knuckles. It was just like this.
And since that day, it's continued, and now you're just a big swollen.
Yeah, it's not muscle, man. It's just inflammation and swelling
so you
and
just
fluid.
swole your way up into a bodybuilder from breaking your foot.
That's
Sweet.
it.
No,
yeah,
so
and then another. I think maybe a couple of days later. I think actually it was on a Sunday because I woke up and we had a wobble game. Obviously I wasn't playing because I had my broken foot.
Yeah.
But I was still on the team. And I just woke up and my knee it was probably about this big. Like couldn't put pants on that big.
Yeah, right.
Like they even had little balls around them, and it's just clumps of inflammation being put together, and you can actually push them around.
That's nuts.
I couldn't even touch my kneecap or my patella.
Yeah.
That's how much inflammation was there.
Jesus Christ.
And I was like, this is not right.
Yeah.
I put I compressed it a lot. Just got up, smashed a lot of Nurofen, tried to do something. He does fuck all. It's probably just a placebo effect. Saying this is going to make me feel better. Went to the game, watched the game. I came back, saw a physio. He's like, yeah, no, this is not normal. Went to a GP. They're like, this is not typical. This is arthritis, but this is not a normal type of arthritis.
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. It's not just like a little bit of arthritis in wrist. You get annoying wrists, as you get older, anything like that. Saw a specialist, is diagnosed as juvenile idiopathic, which means they don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, okay.
Polyarticular, more than one joint arthritis. Basically said, look, you're never going to play basketball again. Yeah. Like, you're done. You said, I'll put you on, steroids, see you go. Really didn't want to take them. Yeah. Went on them anyway. I was already depressed enough. Made me just 10 times worse. I was like, it's not worth the extra depression. Yeah. Not worth, the extra toxicity is going to go on my body when I'm already trying to fight. Obviously, my immune system's crashed and fighting itself right now. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, no, not going to take this. Went back to him. He's like, no, I want to put you on methotrexate, which is they use on cancer patients. Like, it's an extreme drug. Yeah. Blood tests need to be done every 6 weeks for it. Check your liver. Yeah. I was like, yeah, no, not doing that. I just told him, no, get fucked, mate. Yeah. I'm not doing this. I went through so many different options, He said, mate, diet, food, anything that not going to make a difference. Well, I don't see how it's not, mate. When a lot of inflammation comes from oxidization. Well, that is inflammation. Yeah. Inflammation from food, inflammation from, lifestyle. Yeah. Obviously, your blood carries a lot of nutrients because it carries a lot of things what heal. And if you have dirty blood, you're not going to be in a good state. I went to see, even things like homeopaths, which people can debate if they're good or not. Naturopaths, everything. I explored every single option before I touched drugs again. I got told 2 out of 5 chance, living a kind of normal life. If I went on steroids and methotrexate and stuff, I'm like, that's not worth that risk to reward. Is not worth it for me. So I was like, nah, I'm either gonna go down fighting because I'm not doing it that way. So I pulled out all food from my diet, like every single food from my diet, started building back food to an extreme. So if I had tomato, I'd have 8, 10, 12 tomatoes that day. Yeah, okay. See how my body responded to it. Yeah. Like what creates inflammation in the body? Is it tomato? Is it eggs? I have 10 eggs. The old elimination diet sort of thing. Yeah. But like to an absolute extreme. Milk, just drink milk, dairy, like heavy dairy products. Yeah. Gluten, heaps of bread, heaps of pasta, stuff like that.
So did you take this up by yourself? Like
yes and no. There's a lot of help from outside sources, like different naturopaths, homeopaths. Homeopath not so much, maybe naturopaths.
Because you were like year 9 when this was going on. Like, this is some pretty hectic shit.
It's hectic. Like obviously off school wasn't even a thought in my head anymore. Yeah. And I just obviously I had a lot of help. But I took on a lot myself. Like I couldn't get up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. Out of bed. I couldn't take my sheet off anything. I couldn't open the water bottle. Jesus Christ. Just simple things. Yeah. So when I was able to do anything, all I'd spend the time on is researching to an extreme, not just searching on Google and stuff, but looking through
DuckDuckGo sort of stuff.
looking through actual proper stuff, you know? Yeah. And then maybe some other time to go. Just
let's go. Let's go.
It's still the thing that
got to hoop with the boys.
That's it. But yeah, and then over the time, I found out what worked for me. You know, it takes about 3 months to create new blood. I think blood cells last about that long. So my whole theory was obviously trying to clean my blood as much as possible. You know, eat mostly organic food. You can't these days. You can't get everything organic.
No,
it is extremely hard.
Yeah, it's nuts.
There's always something, and even if it's organic, is it organic?
Yeah, like the way that farming and just agriculture in general these days is set up, it's like we're just trying to get as much quantity out. Doesn't matter how much shit you put into it. Like, smallest cost and biggest yield. It doesn't matter what we put into it, like growth hormones, whatever the fuck. Like, it's just going to be filled with shit. But it yields a lot and it makes us lots of money. So eat it up.
That's it.
But so you needed some clean stuff. You can go to the goals in that.
That's it. That's it. Clean food, good food. There was no, we don't care about, food intake, everything. I was maybe trying to limit when I ate, so I wasn't so frequent as well. So I'm not keep spiking insulin. Just I was trying to be very, very extreme with everything I'm doing, because when you're fighting something extreme, you got to obviously do the extreme to fix it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But over time, I got a lot better. Probably about 8 months, I'd say, until I got better. I was able, I tried to do some walking every day just to get the blood moving. Even got maybe like a little trampoline. So I could just slowly bounce and just get movement through my joints. Push blood through those joints. Try and heal as much as I can. I was trying to decrease stress a lot. Obviously, stress causes a lot of inflammation to your body. I don't think that's a myth anymore. I think by the end of the year, December, I started training again. It probably wasn't the best idea, because I just came back and I was like, you love something, you got to do it.
Mate, it's going to reduce your inflammation. It's going to reduce your stress.
Might as well reduce my stress.
Have a good time.
But I trained 4 weeks, hard. Maybe it might have been a bit longer than that, roughly. And then we went to Melbourne. We're meant to tour anyway over to Melbourne. We did it the year before as well. Went over there. I was training there 2-3 times a day. It was insane. It's stupid. I wouldn't have done it again. I would have probably brought my exercise output down. But when you love something, when you're that young, you just went through all that. You're like, no, I want this bad. We'll train heaps basketball anyway. I think 2-3 times a week, but a lot when we did it. Went over to Melbourne. To memory, we didn't lose a game. We won. It was probably a good feeling after that whole year. We toured to Melbourne. I think there's about 1,100 teams that go there to compete.
Jesus Christ.
We don't obviously play those 1,100 teams. But is that
play 1,099 and you come out on top?
It was good. We won. But also to add on to when I got sick, first before I got diagnosed with arthritis, there was something called CRPS. Which is complex regional pain syndrome.
Right. Which
basically is just your nervous system and your brain don't know how to talk to each other. Which was a lot more painful than arthritis. It wasn't as annoying, but it was really painful. So
was that diagnosed around the same time that you got arthritis?
Just before. Just before. I was like, it's called actually the suicide disease. Because a lot of people just
can't hack it.
Can't handle it. Because it's hardly real. They've got no idea how you get it, no idea how you get rid of it.
That's nuts, man. Just your neurons not being able to communicate to each other to work in the system.
I was very lucky to be able to get through the other end, and I was like, yes.
So that was from you cleaning your blood, and you went vegan, right? Like you were full vegan.
I wasn't actually vegan through that time. I still ate meat.
From what I remember, I thought you were vegan for some reason. I remember I had a little sleepover at your house, and you didn't have any meat on your plate.
It must have been towards the end of.
Maybe
towards the end. I don't remember. Maybe when we were still friends, but I didn't go to school. I feel like, because I remember still eating meat. I still ate meat through that time. If I did it again, I wouldn't eat meat. Because it's very hard to find good meat. Everything has hormones in it.
For sure.
They grow animals with hormones. It's even organic meat. You question if it's the best thing to eat. Going through what I went through. I was vegan for 4.5 years, 4 years. Something like that. Didn't count the days, but it I'd say CRPS when I had that was the worst out of it all, but it only lasted not long.
Yeah.
Which I was lucky for, because if you put a blanket on me, I feel like someone stabbed me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm getting burnt alive. That's what it felt.
Just like your sensory feedback is
It
not
was-
accurate.
No.
Yeah.
It was very strange, and if you know anyone that has it, they would tell you the same. If
Yeah.
they have it to the extreme, obviously people have different,
Varying
it's
levels
bad.
of it, yeah.
It's very bad. But
Mhm.
in my case, any time I have anything, it's always to the extreme. I don't half-ass things.
So all throughout high school, you were sort of on that diet to make sure that you could compete and not have body inflammation sort of thing?
Yeah. I mean, even at school, it wasn't, again, I would change things knowing a lot more than I did back then.
Mhm.
But I definitely did my best to make sure that the things I was having weren't going to try and promote inflammation.
Mhm.
I mean, I was eating fuck all. I
Yeah.
didn't really think about it going back to school
Mhm.
up to what I should have been eating,
Yeah.
especially with the amount of exercise output. We're doing playing basketball,
Mhm.
the amount of cardio.
Yeah.
I should definitely have been eating more.
Yeah,
But
for
the
sure.
food I was eating was really clean.
Very clean. Yeah. Probably could have had a bit more carbs in there. but-
man.
So we're in year 9. I'm having sausage rolls and pot noodles every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You've had to go vegan. You shouldn't have to be going through that shit. But like, how long did you have to do that? How long were you vegan until your body got right again?
Well, I wasn't 100%. I wasn't vegan back then. To memory.
Or eating clean?
Yeah, I
sort
was
of thing?
eating clean. I never really stopped eating clean
Mhm.
for a long time. Not just because of that reason. It just became a habit.
Yeah.
Once you get into something, you just you go eat something what you're not used to eating.
Mhm.
You feel like shit.
Yeah.
It
For sure.
doesn't even taste good, man.
Yeah.
When you're not used to it, after a while, you're used to eating a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't taste the same.
Yeah.
And I just never had any desire
Mm-hmm.
to go eat food what made me perform
Yeah.
not great or
Feel shit.
feel shit.
Yeah, for sure. It's like when you have a cheat day or whatever, like you eat clean all week and then you have a Saturday and you
Yeah.
have a cheeky pizza and it just feels like shit.
It's good for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have a pizza and a pint for lunch, so I am feeling that. But that must be one of the hardest things. Obviously, you're a bodybuilder, so let's start talking about that, mate. Because that's what you do now, fam. You're not a basketballer anymore. You're a bodybuilder.
No.
So, how long have you been doing that? We got a couple questions. What age did you start researching the science behind bodybuilding, and why? From Jeff Phillips. There you go.
Oh, maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
What are we? Yeah, I'd say about 3 years ago.
Like when you left high school.
Well, I finished, I think, start of year 11.
Okay. True.
I know I started year 11. I don't think I was in much longer.
Mhm.
I actually dropped out, and to memory, I was the youngest PT in WA.
Yeah. True.
Yeah,
Hectic.
I was PT at 16, and ran my own business at 16.
That's nuts, bro.
Like you say, you want to do what you love.
Yeah.
School's for a lot of people, but it's not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's built for one person.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't fit that mold, you're not, you're dumb. You're not, not smart.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't dumb. I wasn't smart. I was right in the middle. But I didn't go to school wanting to, be awesome
Yeah.
at, writing poems or,
Whatever they do in school.
I would say you need to know basic maths and stuff every day. It doesn't matter
Mhm.
what you do. Same thing with English, but to the extreme of school, what I wanted to do in life, be an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
have my own business, be involved in the, fitness industry.
Yeah.
I knew I'd learn more if I left school, found better mentors,
Mhm.
and just started. You start young,
That's
you
nuts.
can set yourself up. But
How did you know that at 16, bro? Like, I fucking think I had my first pube at 17.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I feel like it was to do when I was sick as well.
Yeah.
It woke me up. I say I lived my first life until
Mhm.
I got sick, and I lived my second life after I
Right.
got sick. It's
Okay.
two different people, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's nuts, man. So dropping out of school at the start of year 11,
Yeah.
you knowing that you wanted to become a PT and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
do remember I hit you up and I was like, I saw that you were doing PTs and I was like, hey man, can you like do like a program for me or whatever?
Yeah.
And you were like, nah man, I'm pretty booked out. I'm like, bro, I'm still in school.
You'll
Like,
be amazed how many people actually ask that as soon as they find out PT.
yeah.
Everyone's just like, they want program from you or
Mhm.
or something.
Well, everyone wants to better themselves, and when they see someone that has that knowledge, then
Exactly.
it's like, help me, fam, please help me. But that must be like, I want to do some PTing. I've had a little bit of experience doing it, but that must be like the most rewarding thing is just promoting positive change in everyone that you apply your knowledge to. Like you design these programs for people,
Definitely.
and then you see the results.
Definitely.
So you're doing Doherty physiques now. That's
Yeah.
your new thing. How long has
Yeah.
that been going, and what's the goal with that?
Well,
What's
just
your
that
vision
itself
for it?
has probably only been a few months.
Mhm.
Before that, I was still doing it for a while. when I first started, it was mainly everything was face to face. I
Mhm.
started at a private gym, which I already did work experience there for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I just went on to my own thing, doing one-to-one personal training, and it wasn't the life for me, man. Like,
Yeah.
you're working, hours when everyone's sleeping, and then working when everyone's, going to bed, going
Yeah.
to dinner. When you got that free time, that's when everyone else is actually working. It's opposite.
Yeah, true.
And the amount of a volume you have to go through to make a good amount of money, you're doing 40, 50 sessions a week, possibly.
Yeah.
You take your valuing, time for money. That's what it is. And I was like, this isn't the life for me. I want to focus on my own training, and I'd rather put my energy into people that really want to train or really want to get better.
So
if I can
instead of
focus on 10 people instead of 30, I can put a lot more effort and time into them, and a lot more care. They can contact me a lot more. I can have that time for them to sit down. Go on a phone call with them, for half an hour if they need. But when you got 30, 40 people, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And you can't put the same energy every session into that person.
So would you say that like your personal training caters more to sort of people bodybuilding, or like would you say that you're not like a weight loss PT, although you could do that?
Yeah.
Like you don't cater to the general pop. You're that person that's like trying to get them from that, like say like year or two of gym experience into like being a bodybuilder sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or do you just work with whoever?
I work with most population. If there's something outside of my expertise, I'm not going to be just like I'll do it anyway.
Yeah,
because it's just money.
Yeah.
As a good PT, I'd like to think, not everyone out there, but you want to do the best for that person.
Yeah.
You don't want to just take their money and and just hope whatever you're doing works for them.
Yeah.
If someone came to me, because many have, obviously, because you used to play basketball, and said, do you do, programs for basketballers? So I can, but I know a lot of people who are a lot better at programming stuff for basketball. I might tell them to go to a coach I used to go to, or ones I follow that I agree with all their philosophies, and you see the results.
Yeah.
I don't program so much stuff for basketballs or people doing soccer or football. Could I? Yes. Am I as good as some other people? Probably not.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm always going to, pass them on or refer them to that person, because also that's another spot that someone I could coach better, is not going to be able to come to me.
Yeah.
Someone weight loss, I'll coach. I find that probably the easiest client to coach, because, 99% of it comes down to, food intake, calorie intake.
Deficit.
It's not rocket science.
Bodybuilders,
I love to coach. Anything, they don't have to be competitors, but even if they want to be a bodybuilder or build their physique, or they're very, I get a lot of enjoyment and coaching them, but they can also be some of the hardest people to coach.
Why is that?
Because a lot of people, I would even say with basketball athletes, or any sport athletes, but basketball athletes I've had the most experience with, they will always think they'll know better.
Yeah.
Any athlete will think they know better.
Probably just comes with the nature of, I don't
It
know,
does.
when like you're sort of 20 years old, say you've been an athlete your whole life, you're probably doing pretty well as an athlete. Like you've always been told yes, and you're great and you're doing well. And then when someone said like questions you, you're like, nah, man, I'm the best. I don't need to hear nothing from you.
Yeah.
I'm the king. I'm LeBron James.
Yeah. And as great as social media can be in YouTube, it also can be a flaw. If someone sees something on Instagram, I saw this dude do, a one-legged pistol squat on a Bosu ball.
Yeah.
With a kettlebell, it's just like, should I do this? I'm like, no.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you do that? I know people that do that sort of stuff.
But just things like that, you're just like, no, you don't. Just follow what you do. People say, oh, I'm not getting results with my coach, but then they're not following their nutrition. They're not doing the actual program. They're not following what the program's saying. They're doing everything else but listen to the coach.
Yeah.
But then it's always the coach's fault.
Yeah.
If I ever they're not getting the results and they're actually doing the work, we adapt, we change things, we make sure that they will, because one size doesn't fit all. Every client that comes to me, I'm not just going to give them a program and be like, here we go. We'll start them on something, and that first program, they might not have much results, but at least we get an opportunity to see how they respond to something, like, no, that's not for them. That's too much food. That's not enough food. That's too much, cardio output. If they go on prep, they lost too much weight too quick. It's like, no, that's too much cardio. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Because you can't just tell, be like, oh, this is going to work for you. Everyone's metabolism is different. Yeah. Everyone, how they process food is different. Digest food. Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of people will sort of cut corners and expect to get the grand results. Like they won't put in that most important foundational work to build off. They'll want to, I don't know, like a basketball might want to jump 40 inches high.
Oh, that was me, man.
Yeah.
That was me. I remember going to a coach be like, yeah, I want to dunk.
Yeah.
It's like, that's cool, but there's a lot more before that. So
Nuts, maybe dunk. Maybe touch the
ring.
So
I know how that feels when, athletes come to you, like, I want to, do a windmill. I'm like, mate, you only can get 3 inches off the floor, aren't you?
Yeah. How
Things don't happen overnight, There's so much goes into it. Genetics. Genetics is the biggest one.
Yeah.
Especially with athletes.
Why is that? Just how, like, metabolic rate and stuff like that, how you digest food and
no,
stuff?
I'm just saying athletes and jumping.
Oh,
any
like
type of,
stuff?
Yeah. Big time, man. Big time.
I was thinking, like, before when you were talking about, metabolic rate and how people digest food differently and stuff like that. How do you look into that and determine sort of caloric intake and whatnot?
Well, I think you always got to, there's a lot of things you can do to roughly calculate what type of food they need, depending on how much of a surplus they want to be in, caloric surplus, depending on what their goal is. I always start small. Like, you find their maintenance, just go a little bit above that and, see how they respond. If they're not putting on any weight, any fat, you're like, no, they need more food.
Okay.
If they're just overnight putting on so much weight, you're like, okay, you're either not sticking to what I've given you, tell me the truth, or if you are, we need to make changes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there's rough guides out there which work, that will give you an indication. But like I said, everyone's different. Yeah. And you just can't go get, a blood test and be like, okay, this is how fast my metabolism is.
Yeah. Okay.
You just can't do that.
Yeah.
So you need time to work out a client's, how they respond to certain things. Of course, there's so many people out there that, give them this, food program, 1200 calories, lose all this weight. Yeah. I'm like, cool, anyone will lose weight on 1200 calories. Yeah. But when they stop the diet, I'd love to see what happens. I'll put on that weight again and put on more. Like, anyone can rip weight off someone. It's the easiest thing to do. But doing it in a healthy way and creating habits so they keep that weight off is a big thing. Because a lot of people do the 8-week little, diet, stop it, and then they're straight back to where they were. And they'll just compete, do that year round.
Yeah, they just have that metabolism drop completely. Like, it might be like, say, 2,000 calories, and then you drop it down to 1,200, and then you go back to eating what you were, and it just stacks it on, right?
You don't just put the weight back on, but your metabolism's now slowed down.
Yeah.
So you just took all this food from it, and it's not going to process food the same way it used to. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of miseducation out there, and a lot of people, there's a lot of PTs that I think do too much. Yeah. Okay. They try and branch out way too much, with nutrition, with a lot of things, when you can just refer that to someone. If you don't
Stay in your lane.
Yes. If you don't know what you're talking about, or don't have 100% an idea, don't be afraid to say, no, that's not my thing. Because you're just going to end up hurting that person. Yeah.
Definitely.
It's fine to have your niche. You don't have to be good at 100 things. Yeah. If let's go to NBA, because we love that. Let's go. You want to get to the NBA, don't be good at 100 things. There's not many players in the league who are good at everything. You only can name a few. They can do everything on the court.
Nuts. People like LeBron.
LeBron. Yeah. Kawhi. KD.
Yeah.
When healthy, those two.
That's about it. Yeah. That's honestly about it. Giannis can't shoot.
No, if you can shoot, do that well.
Yeah.
Because you'll get time and you'll get to the NBA. Yeah. If you got height and you can shoot, and make sure you can shoot the shit out of the ball. There's no point trying to make yourself into a massive rebounder, lockdown defender, shot creator, playmaker. No. Whatever. Just... Look at Matisse Thybulle.
Yeah.
What does he average? Like 2, 3, 4 points a game? But he starts.
Lockdown defender.
He's an amazing defender.
Yeah. I love Matisse.
Be good at what you are. What you're good at, be awesome at it. And you'll get a good niche.
Yeah. I like that.
If you can be different and be really good at being different, you'll get a good market. Yeah. If you're good at everything, everyone can say the same thing. Oh, I do nutrition, I do PT, I do backflip courses. Where's it going to stop? Yeah.
Backflip course does sound fun though.
It does sound like I've hurt myself doing that.
Yeah, no, that's actually pretty handy information for me. I've just started out as a strength and conditioning coach.
Pretty cool. So you just graduated, mate.
Yes. That's pretty cool. So I have worked in the football industry, doing like gym programs and stuff like that, pretty basic stuff. But there's a lot of areas that feed into that. Like there's the conditioning part, so there's the running, and then there's the delivery of rehab programs, and then there's the warm-ups. Like there's all these different parts that I'm sort of trying to wrap my head around. Not that the topics are too hard, but like
there's a lot involved, isn't it?
Yeah, like
it's not just lifting weight. It's not just doing cardio.
Yeah.
You know, you want to prevent them from, you know, getting injured.
Mm-hmm.
You want them still to be fit.
Yeah.
You still want them to, you know, have explosive power.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do all that at the same time, mate, because you're trying to minimise the amount of total volume they're going to do in that week.
Yeah.
So they don't get injured.
Mm-hmm.
But you also want to, you know, maximise, you know,
the gains,
the
growth.
don't you?
Yeah.
And the
sure.
cardio output and being fit. So athletes are very, very hard to do. And that's why I've got a lot of respect for good strength and conditioning coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So what goes into it, there's a lot of blood on your hands too.
Yeah.
You know, if someone gets injured, they point straight at the strength and conditioning coaches.
Yeah. Touch wood, have not had many injuries at all so far, which is good. We've got a scratch match tomorrow, so yeah, see how that goes. But like, yeah, that's actually really interesting. Like having a niche, like being a sprint coach or being someone that specializes in speed or change of direction or just the gym stuff, like that would be really handy to just knuckle down on that and just find out all the ins and outs of that, and then specialize. And then there's not as many people that would know more than you on that one topic, but there's like 100 people that know 20% of what you know on this, that, and everything else. So would you say yours would be bodybuilding then? Your
yes,
niche?
definitely.
So how did you get into that? Like what got you into that? Where was the shift from basketball to bodybuilding?
Well, from basketball, obviously, I was doing strength and conditioning for basketball.
Yeah.
I actually shout out my coach. He's a good topic to talk about, Sean Conley.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his own niche, being a basketball coach.
Yeah.
I've been a basketball strength and conditioning coach.
Mm-hmm.
And he's created a massive audience in that regard. He's got his own performance center. I think, don't quote me, I think it's like Land Performance.
Okay.
You know, own basketball court, gym, all that.
Sick.
A lot of athletes, good athletes, you know, overseas, NBL athletes, even some college athletes, I believe.
Yeah.
But from that, you know, you start seeing like small gains. He really programmed my stuff, and I'll go to someone else to do my training. I'll catch up with him every now and then. And then from there, I just enjoyed going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
You know, you see small changes, or you start lifting more weight. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah, sure.
You're growing. You're getting better as a person physically
and mentally.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because both go hand in hand, man.
So you started to see some small gains after you started playing basketball. When did you realize, like, I want to stop doing basketball and I want to get full-time gains?
After I did calisthenics for a bit and started getting bigger, just doing that. Actually, my uncle, who's my coach as well, he's a bodybuilder as well. And I started getting into bodybuilding, just that, kind of left basketball to the side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just enjoyed it a lot more. One, because I think in the back of my head I knew that basketball wasn't going to last that long for me.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't going to be a career.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very career driven. Very like, I want to be something more than average. I don't want to be average. I want to be.
You want to be the best at what you do.
Yeah, definitely. You know, so if I'm going to be average at playing basketball, you know, and if SBL is all I'm going to do, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
you're going to be in the NBA fan.
Yeah, it might sound stupid because there's a lot of people out there who enjoy being that, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being average or just being at that level.
Enjoying.
But that's just but that's just not me. I think, especially once I got better from being sick, I was like, I'm going to take advantage of having a second chance and actually do something. Yeah. You know, with my life and go down trying to be something better than I thought I could be.
Sick.
You know, so after that, I saw him. We started training. Started putting on weight, but training to an extreme. Like I thought I was training hard, and I was, but I wasn't training to that intensity. Yeah, like it was next level. And then I just kept going from there, and I was probably maybe 17. I would have been at least 17. It wasn't 18, so I would say 17. And I was just training hard for a while, and just started to see progress as I kept going. So yeah, this could definitely be something I'm good at. You know, got my genetics are not bad for it. Which who would have known? You know, I was skinny as a twig back then. Yeah. Maybe 50 kilos or something.
Yeah. I know the feels, mate.
You know, everyone, I think my coach, even when we toured, used to call me like SpongeBob. Arms. Yeah. You know, I was never big. I was small. Yeah. Height, even height, I wasn't the tallest dude. You know, maybe 5'10", 5'11" now. Yeah. But I was never that tall, never that big. Just started to grow. Yeah.
So you started going like pretty much every day, or?
Yeah. I ended up finding out that going every day definitely doesn't work for me, especially probably because of my when I was sick, just from the inflammation the stress.
Yeah.
Like we even saw, we tested all the time. Every time I trained 6 days a week, my results would be nowhere the same.
Yeah, okay.
But those 2 rest days, I'll recover a lot more and grow. If I did 6, it was just obviously it was too much stress.
Yeah.
My cortisol was too high, inflammation was too high, it wasn't recovering properly. But when I started off, I definitely was only 5 days.
When you were doing your coaching and stuff like that, that sort of gave you the knowledge and foundation to train yourself. You were seeing all these coaches that were helping you out with it.
Yeah.
When did you sort of realise, like, this could be me? This could be my calling?
Yeah.
What age were you that you started really seeing results and started to realise, like, this may be the career path for me?
Probably, I'd say probably around 18. 18 or 19.
Yeah.
Around 18, I was starting to grow a lot more, and then 19, I was definitely like, this is 100% what I want to do. Like, I'll put my life towards this.
Yeah.
Not just because I think I'll be really good at it and go really far with it, but I also enjoy the shit out of it.
Yeah. Sick.
I learned to live with, the pain, the discipline, the sacrifice. And I can't do that in a routine.
Yeah.
It just feels odd.
Yeah.
It's just given me a purpose as well. If you ask anyone, as soon as they find their purpose or their why, it's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Because you're here for a reason, or you at least feel like it. And you feel like you're meant to do this.
Yeah.
Whether you are or not, you feel like that's what it is. So you just give it everything you got.
I remember you sharing like an Arnie thing, and it was like, you go into the gym day after day, week after week, month after month, and then you go for years, and then you just keep going and keep showing up, and you're constantly improving, you're constantly getting better. Just that mindset, right? Like the discipline, the sacrifices that you make just get better and better and better, and you're constantly improving, like always getting better, and it just sets you aside. And you sort of realize what's real to you. You have that purpose, that why to become the person that you want to be. You're not distracted by this external bullshit of partying and material items and all that stuff. You're just like, this is me. I'm going to spend all my time doing this, and I'm just going to get better for myself. So it's a nice realization to have, right?
You see what's real in life, even what's going on right now.
Yeah.
You see what's real in life. You don't see all this materialistic stuff. With what's happening in WA right now in Australia and the world, it makes you really go back to basics of life.
Yeah.
And see things in a different way. Like you're actually lucky for what we had or have.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Family. What you got. Your purpose. All those type of things kind of makes the whole partying or going out or all those type of things just seem less important. Yeah. Like to me, they were never important, but even other people I know, they just that really wasn't anything. Yeah. It wasn't real. Yeah, for sure. It's just materialistic. Yeah. It's just like the idea of going out, like people come out of high school and love that popularity and just the partying and stuff like that, the little dopamine hits that you get from drinking and just Instagram likes. How many people do you know who are so popular at school doing really well right now? To be honest, I don't see anyone from high school anymore. No, so that people don't realise once that stops, what do you got? Yeah. Popularity doesn't get you far because they're not popular on Instagram. They don't have 100,000 followers at school. What are you going to do? What are you doing to get better? What are you doing? How many people get laughed at for trying to be something good at school? Everyone that tries to do something different. Sport. Yeah. There's always something wrong with something you're doing because you're trying to be good or you're trying too hard. It's like, well, I'm trying. Yeah. What are you doing? Not trying? How's that cool? Yeah. And let's see where we are later on. Yeah. Better. Yeah. It's not a competition, but these people are like, I'm cooler because I'm not trying as hard as you. Yeah. Okay. When was it not cool to try sort of thing? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's so nuts, man. Like the whole high school popularity contest, like it feels like it's just the be all and end all. Like, the popular kids are the coolest people and they're always going to be sick. And then it turns out, sort of once you leave school, that those popular kids are usually the ones that have the shitter lives because they get so caught up in that they can't determine what's real and what's not. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, I'll say put that really well. Even you and I know through my whole school, I was never not popular. I was never not in that group. Yeah. But I never saw it as me being popular. We're always around those type of people. Yeah. But not because they're popular. But now looking back at it, they were the popular ones. The cool kids, bro. Yeah, but where are they now? Yeah. And there'll be some that are, but it's just, I feel like you said, they're too hung up on what's not real. For sure. That's the key thing. Like, I said it on a podcast with my mate the other day. I've left high school. I've left uni now, and it was like heaps of partying and stuff like that. But
I've sort of refrained from that, and I've just started channeling my energy into this podcast that works really well, as you can see, and like meditating and stuff like that, like looking inward instead of just like having a look good, feel good, ego driven attitude sort of thing. It's like, all right, I need to be happy with myself so then I can be confident in my own thoughts and actions and stuff like that, so I can be confident in myself as a person.
It starts with you, bro, before it goes anywhere else.
Yeah.
I always say, how can you help someone
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't taken care of yourself? Or how can you love someone else if you don't love yourself?
Yeah.
You can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's even personal, you know, we'll go back to personal training or coaches.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't do, you know, follow your nutrition plan themselves, or follow their program themselves, or preach what they do.
Yeah.
If that's what they actually do. Because there's some coaches out there that don't train.
Yeah.
That's not their thing, and they're good coaches.
Yeah.
But the coaches who compete, or, you know, bodybuilders or whatever their profession is, they don't follow their own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give it to their clients.
Yeah. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah. You got to practice what you preach, mate.
You 100% you do, because it's not a good example for someone else. And they're like, hang on a second.
Why would I listen to this
While I'm
dude?
listening to you, you're telling me to eat, you know, what you put out, but you want to eat what you're offered to eat.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't. No.
Yeah. So nowadays that you're still doing your bodybuilding a few years in, what's sort of your weekly splits? What are you doing? How often are you training? How often are you eating?
Yeah.
Rest days, sup use, stuff like that.
Yeah. I would say right now, I want to do maybe 6 days a week of training.
Mm-hmm.
It never goes past that.
Yeah.
Maybe 7 days a week training.
Mm-hmm.
You'll probably go down to 5 at some point.
Yeah.
Especially as I'm going to increase my food soon, but I also want to be in a very heavy surplus.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring my training down to make it bigger as well. But let's say through prep, when I was competing, I had a 12-week period for myself. Every morning, 2 hours of cardio.
Okay.
So normally around 3 o'clock, I'd be at the gym, 2 hours of cardio.
Mm-hmm.
On the restaurant.
Yeah.
That's something like that. And then food will vary depending on where I'm at that day.
Mm-hmm.
Normally 4 or 5 meals.
Yeah.
Per prep, not heaps.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very plain, boring.
Chicken and rice.
You can argue it doesn't need to be that plain, but I'm a person like I just need the food. I don't care how it tastes. I
Yeah.
eat it. That's a winner.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Yeah, just plain, you know, your protein, your carb.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all really good. Not many fats in it. Fats are very important for health, especially hormones.
Mm-hmm.
But in prep, it's not about health.
Yeah. So
health goes out the window in prep.
You've like done all this research and stuff like that after you've been sick, and like I've got a degree and whatnot, but I have so much respect for the knowledge and stuff that you have without even having to get that high level of education. Like you've just done that from applying it to yourself. Like it's a completely different way to go about it. But yeah, you've put in the actual reps, figurative and literally.
Yeah.
So you're eating chicken and rice, and that's all you need. Why just chicken and rice? Why?
Well, I actually hate that. I hate that chicken and rice.
Oh, really?
I do, because it's a lot. It's not true. It's just obviously protein carb. That's all it's really meaning.
Yeah.
Chicken is probably one of the leanest forms you can get
Mm-hmm.
of protein source. But you can go potatoes, sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Lean beef. You don't even need to be lean. Depends where you are in your training. Are you trying to get lean? Are you trying to maintain? Are you trying to slowly put on your size? Are you trying to get on like a massive bulk?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what's better. But depends where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Food can be anything. Food's food.
Yeah.
There's so many things that can replace chicken, so many things that can replace rice.
Yeah.
Sweet potato, any different types of rice.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be high carbs, you can be high fat.
Yeah.
Different things work. I wouldn't work on high fat, I've tried it before, I've been keto before.
Mm-hmm.
Before I was vegan, I was actually keto, which is a big flip.
Yeah.
Eating eggs, bacon, meat, all day.
Yeah.
I've been vegan for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's funny,
It's a complete polar end of the spectrum.
But before I started my prep, which was, I competed in October, end of October.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 months prior to that, I was vegan all the way up to now.
Yeah.
So all the muscle built, it's all been from plants.
That's nuts.
It's only the last since.
Not actual nuts, like crazy nuts.
Yeah. But that's since obviously I finished the show till now. I haven't been. But that's all the muscle built up to then was all from plants.
Okay.
It's from me.
What sort of plants do you get your protein from?
Everything. I always say this to someone. What does your mate get your protein from?
Plants.
What do cows eat?
Grass.
Yeah.
So you're eating grass.
But what do we eat? Cows and chicken.
Yeah.
You think where they get the protein from?
True.
But yeah, everything, man. Like even rice has protein. It's not a high amount of protein, but things add up. Tofu was a big source. Everyone thinks that tofu is not good for you. It is if it's not organic. I think processed tofu's definitely got a lot of negatives about it.
Yeah.
But everyone's under the impression you eat tofu, you somehow increase estrogen in your body.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You get man boobs and all this stuff. I was eating 6 meals of tofu a day.
Yeah, okay.
Fine. My bloods were fine.
Yeah.
It's not how it works. So, rice, tofu, beans, vegetables through the day, all adds up.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be tofu. You can get seitan, all these different types. I don't like it. I was very plain eater. Breakfast simple. Nothing really changes at breakfast. I've always eaten, oats, things like that. I've never kept my food the same. Always changed a little bit. But food to me has always just been food. Yeah. I don't look at it and be like, oh, sweet, sweet chocolate. I just eat it.
When you started competing, how does the nutrition plan go from like the sort of prep phase until you get up to the lead up to the competition? Like, how does it vary from the start of training until like the lead up? Because you cut out carbs, like what is it, a couple of weeks before, something like that?
We never completely cut out carbs.
Reduce it.
Again, we definitely reduce it. It depends on person as well. A lot of people do different things. Yeah. What I did, we did bring back carbs as we got closer to the show. The only reason, nothing to do with losing fat. Carbs have got nothing to do with fat. Everyone thinks if you want to lose weight, cut carbs. No, cut carbs. You can't eat carbs, you can't eat fat. So what do you eat? Where are you getting energy from? Yeah. And you can't eat protein and expect energy. Yeah. It turns into glucose eventually in your body if you have too much of it. Yeah. But you got to have energy from something. But we cut out carbs mainly just because of it's going to hold water. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. You're just trying to reduce the amount of water in your body. You're trying to take all the water out of your body.
Why is that? Just to look more lean?
Yeah, you can be 3-4% body fat on the stage. 10% body fat if you're holding a lot of water. You look terrible. Yeah, okay. If you hold water, you look terrible. You start sweating a lot, especially if you're posing, holding a lot of water. Yeah. Posing ain't easy. It looks easy, but it ain't easy. Yeah. All those poses, you got to practice, man. Yeah. If you want to be able to hold poses. And you start sweating if you hold water, ruining your tan, things like that. But you look 10 times more dice if you've dropped most of your water out of your body, or all of it. But depends on how you're looking, we'll push carbs up closer to the show. Basically just to fill out that muscle. Okay, right. Because the thing is, you're trying to hold the water outside of your muscle is what's going to make you look like fat. Even though it's not fat, I'll pinch you and you have no fat, you look fat just because the water is making you look bloated, fluffy. Yeah. But if the water's inside your muscle, making your muscle look big, that's different. Because obviously your muscle made up of a lot of water. Yeah. So that's obviously it's important not to take out all your carbs and not be on no carbs going up to your show. You're going to look really flat. You're going to look 10 times smaller than the person next to you. So it's just finding that balance of cutting out carbs and then pushing them back up towards your show. And the thing is, everyone reacts different to carbs. Yeah. Someone could go buy a rice cake and hold all this water on stage, and someone could go eat 1,000 grams of carbs. Yeah. And not hold any water on stage. So that's why the first comp doesn't mean much, because it's just really an experiment to see how your body's going to react to a certain amount of food, a certain amount of carbohydrates. Yeah. But I'll say, for me, my protein got really, really high towards the end. My carbs got a lot lower. Okay. And then the last few days, I started pushing my carbs up. Right. But if I did it again, I would have probably done an extra day without carbs. Okay. But increased my carbs more in the last few days.
Have you got plans to compete this year?
No.
No?
Not for a while.
Okay, why is that? You just want to get your body to the spot where you're confident for it to be?
Right now my goal's 2024.
Okay, true.
So I competed in 2021. Last year. I did men's physique, which isn't open bodybuilding. That's a form of bodybuilding. But my next show will be bodybuilding. Yeah, okay. So before I compete again, I want to make sure when I'm on stage, no one's looking apart from me. Yeah, okay. Get to that point where you know, Yeah. So I'll still be classed as a junior as well, which I still junior and do open as well, but I'm winning both. Yeah. Love the confidence, mate. Love it. Well, that's 2 years, mate. A lot of growth, and I've only done this for a short amount of time. I'm only 20 years old.
So, well, you're 20?
Yeah.
We're the same age, bro. You look about fucking 25, man.
Yeah, so I'll be 22.
Yeah.
And then turning 23 not long after that. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I would like to hope I'm at 120 by that stage.
What are you weighing now?
Probably below 100.
Yeah, okay. True. So instead of sort of going through that process of getting ready to compete and fucking up your body, having all these up and down levels of whatever you want to sort of aim for 2024, just build towards that, and then that's when you sort of.
I don't want to get off, fat. Also, if I could say between 10-15% body fat, that's all. Yeah, I'll be happy. I'll probably about 9-10% now. But if I can stay within that range and get to 120 or over by then and look good, it's not just about weight, but it's a rough aim I want to get to. I think another 20-25 kilos off frame will do a lot. And especially I was injured my whole prep, injured for 12 months.
How?
I hurt my hip.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just my hip, it was a long story. For 10 months, no one knew what was wrong. I saw maybe 6 specialists, different people, including physios, doctors, chiros, everything. No one could figure out what was wrong. I had guess, I had scans, nothing came up, but I was in an immense amount of pain. I couldn't move, couldn't get out of bed some days. I was still trained, I couldn't even train my legs. My legs grew just from doing cardio and prep, which is insane. Just because it's a small stimulus that my legs didn't have for that 12 months. And just by doing cardio, they grew a little bit. Yeah, right. But only the last 6 weeks, I've just started to train legs in 12 months. And I've just gone boom.
That's nuts, man.
So I've grown a lot in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, all that weight I've got on right now is me without great legs.
Without legs. You got legs like me at the moment, mate, or what? Yeah, true.
Just a little bit bigger.
Are you always in the hypertrophy range, or do you go to like 3-4 rep range, get that strength and power?
What do you believe hypertrophy is?
It's like 8 to 12?
Yeah.
Around that?
I would say that's the known as a hypertrophy state. I don't believe there's no such thing as an 8 to 12 rep range hypertrophy. Okay. So it's just that burn sort of phase? There's 100 ways to build muscle. Yeah. Again, everyone's different. I know people that could build muscle doing 50 reps. Yeah. I know someone who can build muscle doing 6 reps. Yeah. It's creating new stimulus to your body. Okay. If it's 8-12 reps, create stimulus to your body. That's good. Yeah. But are you doing 8-12 reps and then you've done 15? That's another thing. Are you going to where you can't go no more, or you're stopping short just because it's 8 to 12? Right. That's what I don't like, is because people are like, I'm within that 8 to 12 range, I'll build muscle. Like, I bet you if you did another 3 reps and went to failure and did 15, there'll be a lot more muscle. Okay. So you see the hypertrophy range is reps to failure? Yeah, I would say reps to failure, not always. I don't believe always going to failure. I believe it's definitely a tool that's not used enough. I don't think enough people push themselves, especially, say training legs. People squat, done 10 reps. Like, you could have done 7, what? Like, you trust me. Your mind gives out a lot more before your body does. 100%, man. Gives up at about 60%. I don't see anyone training hard. There's not many people, training hard. The ones that do look good. So you can tell which ones train hard. If I got someone to do 5 reps, it made them 10-second reps. That's 50 seconds under tension. If I got someone doing 10 reps, it's a second each, just 10 seconds. Yeah. So there's a lot of different ways to build muscle. If you did 5 reps and really, really concentrated through that rep, if it's a slow negative or a deep pause or whatever, I bet you'll get a lot more muscle than someone just doing 10 reps pumping out. Yeah. For a second. For sure. Or someone doing 20 reps, whether it's a cluster set of 5 reps for 10 seconds, 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 and someone just doing that as well. Yeah. 8-12 works, but so does everything else. Yeah. I think it's also intensity is the biggest thing. If you can execute some of the intensity, whether it's 6 reps, 8 to 12 reps, 15, 30 reps, you'll create stimulus to build muscle, if that's your goal. It's all it is your body is trying to adapt to a stress. Yeah. You can adapt to a stress at 8 to 12 reps, you can do it at 15 reps. Yeah. Because it's like, next time we do this, I want to be able to do it. Yeah. Because it's like it's fighting something, that's what it's doing. It's fighting resistance. Yeah. So next time it wants to be able to fight the resistance better. Yeah, just putting it into shock sort of thing, and then getting more comfortable in that deep water as you go sort of thing. I always say to people, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yeah. That's how you're going to grow. Classic. Love that. And I think that's a saying that a lot of people will use, but it's true. Even in life. Yeah. If you're comfortable, you're doing something wrong. Yeah. You got to get uncomfortable. You can just sit around doing nothing. Where's that going to lead you? Yeah. Like, you got to... Yeah, I was watching a video yesterday about cold showers, and it's like that moment where you sort of resist and you're like, I should walk away, I shouldn't do this, but
doing that thing that's hard makes everything else so much easier.
Correct.
Yeah.
And just like one little thing in that day, you just hop in that cold shower, makes a big difference for the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I just did that. You know, when it's scary to jump.
Yeah.
That's another good one.
100%.
Because, you know, that's when you jump.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary.
Yeah.
You know, you got to take a risk to get, you know, if you took no risks in your life,
Mm-hmm.
just went by your day, you know, you're not going to be anything. You're going to be the same person you were before.
Yeah.
If you want to change, you got to do something you haven't done.
Mm-hmm. Can't be doing the same shit, expecting different results.
Can you?
Yeah,
Unless
adapt
you
and
win the lotto.
evolve. Yeah.
I'm not here to try and just win the lotto.
Yeah.
So I don't win the lotto. I'm that lucky.
Yeah, there's no way to rig that. Yeah, I said this in the podcast as well. Like, you can, as you were saying, wake up every day, do the same thing, and expect things to just turn around one day for you. But you can't wait for the clouds to part. You gotta move the cloud yourself, mate.
Yeah.
You gotta evolve every day, try to be better every day.
Yeah, there's no right time. There is
Mhm.
like, oh no, I'll wait till next week because I've got this on. I'll wait next year. Wait till New Year's. It's like, no, there's never a right time.
Start tomorrow, mate.
You know,
Start now.
There's always something going on in your life,
Mm-hmm.
and there's never going to be a good time to start.
Yeah.
So that's why I just say start now.
Start right
Because
now.
once you start, you started.
Mm-hmm.
Good to go.
Yeah.
It's just that first step. It's always the first step for everyone, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, get into the gym, like go
Yeah.
to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
get started, or you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, I want to compete now.
Yeah.
Get into that, you know, that routine of doing it. Because once you're in a routine and a rhythm, you get that momentum. You
Yeah.
have momentum, you just don't stop. You just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's an important thing, just taking that first step,
Dope.
just jumping when
For
it feels
sure.
uncomfortable. You know.
All right, plonkers. This break in the podcast is to let you know that there are no more audio issues for the rest of the podcast, so you can enjoy the last 35-ish minutes of the podcast without stabbing your ears out. As always, my podcast is available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so make sure you go over to those platforms and listen on there. Leave a review and a like rating for me, a star rating. It helps out in the algorithm. Also, if you use TikTok and want to see the clips from the podcast, go follow my TikTok @_Drewzy. I apologize for the audio issues in this episode. I'm getting a new interface, so this won't happen again. Enjoy the rest of the episode. So going to uni, you're taught through textbooks. This is the way it is. There's no other way.
Yeah.
You're obviously contrary to that. You've got your own theories and whatnot. But here's something that they tell you never to do.
Yep.
PEDs, performance enhancing
Ooh,
drugs.
that's a good one.
Right? So obviously
Is that what they teach you?
they tell you that there's categories. So there's
Yep.
like level 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever, or
Yep.
A, B, C, D.
Yeah,
Level
okay.
A is like highly researched and it's shown that there's evidence that supports that it's useful, it's not going to cause any harm,
Yep.
and that it shouldn't be illegal, whatever.
Yep.
And then like obviously level D, it's like don't use. Level C and B, can't really remember off the top of my head. That's why I've got you here to talk about it.
Yep.
But it's like requires more research or hasn't shown any effect or stuff like that. Don't take them. They're not good. They're very bad. They're
they
very
are.
bad.
I would not say to take them.
Nah. So
I
obviously
would-
there's a context to use them and obviously know exactly what you're doing.
100%.
And if you're an athlete, if it's banned in your sport,
Don't
not
use
use
it.
it.
Do
Do
not
not
use it. 'Cause
absolutely do not use
It's
it.
cheating.
Yeah.
For bodybuilding, it's not cheating.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that,
but no, I
if
do
you were
not-
playing basketball, you wouldn't be doing it,
Hell
obviously.
no.
Sort of in bodybuilding, it's not too frowned upon, right? Like
No.
PED use and whatnot. So why is that? Like, why is it not such a taboo thing? Because that's the only sport probably where it is like that.
Yeah, if it's not the only one, it would be one of the only ones.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely federations out there which are natural.
Mm-hmm.
I say that very lightly
Yeah.
because the ones that I know of don't test every single athlete,
Mm-hmm.
and they do random tests.
Right.
And I don't know anyone personally who's been tested.
Yeah.
at
Okay.
those, you know,
Yeah.
so
Someone's pulling something shady.
yeah. Look, I love the idea of natural legs
Mhm.
because people who want to be natural and don't want to be on gear is awesome.
Yeah.
Because they can compete at a natural level. But when there's people, you know, many people that aren't competing completely natural,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean they have to be abusing them to an extent, but, you know, they've got a lot more help than the next person. It's
Yeah.
not fair.
Yeah.
And it just puts you off a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of things like the IFBB, NPC, you know, the most known leagues in the world, you know, everyone knows what the Mr. Olympia is.
Yeah.
That's NPC, IFBB.
Yeah.
All that's non-tested.
Okay.
So without promoting it, they're promoting it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. They're not saying, you know, publicly take, you know, PEDs.
But
But
we're not going to check.
I'm telling you right now, there's no one who's a pro who's not on PEDs.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say this, roughly. 95% of amateurs who aren't pros, who are men, are on steroids.
Okay.
And I'll say 99.99% of amateurs who compete in IFBB are on something.
Yeah. Okay. What are the...
If that gives you an idea of how much they're used, it doesn't. I'm not saying they're using a lot or using small amounts. It changes on person. Everyone. Not everyone knows what they're doing as well.
Yeah.
And I'll say that's a lot of people from my time in the industry. But it's common. I'll tell you, there's that many people out there on PEDs that you would never guess.
Yeah.
And that's just me being in the industry, knowing people, and having connections in that way. That there's that many people out there don't even bodybuild or don't even train that are on PEDs.
Yeah, right.
It's out there a lot more than people think.
Yeah. It's something that
I was going to ask you, what you said at the start, what's in that D category?
I think it's just like substances that are like could be potentially harmful or bad.
Do you know any off the top of your head?
I don't. I haven't looked into it much. Just rote learning, trying to remember it for tests, and then it goes out, sort of thing.
Because obviously everyone has a different opinion in the industry. What's good and bad? I'd say a lot of that would probably be accurate. What you're looking at. I wouldn't know what it is, but there's definitely categories of things.
Yeah.
Again, based on research and clinical trials and things like that. Things only be tried at certain dosages, and people taking 10 times that and saying, "Oh yeah, it's been tried." I'm like, "Yeah, but you're taking 10 times the amount."
Yeah.
So say with another one, SARMs. I know everyone knows what SARMs are.
Well,
they haven't been
describe
researched.
the ones that are used most frequently, what they are, and what effect they have on your physiology and whatnot.
It's hard to say which ones are used the most. It's probably which ones aren't used the most, if I'm being honest.
So what are the more common ones?
Well, the biggest one will be testosterone.
Yeah.
That's, if anyone's doing any type of cycle, it has to be in there. Nearly everything you take is going to shut your natural production down anyway. So you got to be taking testosterone.
Okay.
Because your test will shut down straight away if you take anything else.
Right.
It just stops producing.
So if you take any other sort of PED, your testosterone will shut down.
Your natural testosterone will shut down.
Yeah.
So that's why you always need a base of testosterone in there.
Okay.
That's even some people just do testosterone, which is fine. A lot of people do TRT or HRT, which is just basically replacing your natural testosterone. Because there's a lot of people out there that even people they don't know that their testosterone is way too low. Yeah. Than what it should be, and they think they have problems when all it is they might be tired, they might not be feeling great. Yeah. Lack of energy, lack of strength, and really they just have terrible testosterone levels. Okay. Yeah. Right. Is there not negative health side effects that come with taking not artificial, but like how do you take testosterone, and what are the sort of negative side effects that could come with that? Genetics is a big thing. And again, dosage. I would say drugs aren't the killer. I mean, I wouldn't say killer because they won't kill you. If you take it, nothing's going to kill you like that. If it ever killed you, it would be a slow progression over years of abusing things that would cause damage to certain things. Yeah. But toxicity comes from dosage. Okay. If that makes sense. Yeah. Someone can be like, I'm on this. I'm like, cool, but how much? If you're on, 10 times someone else's amount and they say they're doing the same thing, it's not. Yeah. Obviously, most of performing enhancing drugs or steroids are always taken, injection. Yeah. Okay. Or muscular injection. Some are taken through sub-Q, in your fat underneath your skin, which is very rare. Mainly peptides like say growth hormone or things like that. But testosterone is the base. That's the minimum you're going to use on a cycle. Dosage changes. Obviously, it can be here or through the roof. Yeah. Side effects, man, the list goes on and on and on. And I would say it doesn't depend on so much a drug. It depends on your lifestyle and everything you're doing with it. Okay. Is your food on point? Is your training on point? Is your sleeping on point? Are you recovering properly? Genetics is a big thing. Yeah. I'd say a big one would be, say, skin. A lot of people might see people with bad skin and say he's on steroids. Yeah. And he might be. Because it does, I would say maybe 40% of people will get it. And it's just a genetic thing. Yeah. Obviously food and all that plays a big part in it, but genetics plays a big part in it. If you've got acne at all, or a little bit of it, or your family has a history of it, you've got a good chance of getting some type of acne.
Okay.
It can be small, it can be extreme, and again, it just depends on the person.
Isn't infertility a pretty big thing with taking testosterone?
No.
Is it not?
It's seemed as it is, and it can be.
Mm-hmm. Again, genetically sort of thing.
Yeah, no. Well, it shuts your natural production down. That's where that infertility bit comes from.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean you always can restart your natural production. People don't. I think once you're on it, that's it.
Yeah,
that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
I know people have gotten their partner pregnant, being on cycle. So it's not true. You still can be fertile. Your infertility is, I would say, it's not accurate, but you'll be less infertile. You'll be less fertile. Sorry.
Yeah.
But if you did a PCT, which is a post-cycle therapy, you went off it, use things to start regulating your natural testosterone again. You, depending on your age, how long you've been doing it, how long you've been abusing it, you should come back to normal. Yeah. You can't always. I can't say if you're 60 years old, it's not going to return the same. But if you're young, you're 20, 30, whatever, and you haven't been abusing it for long periods of time, you do a PCT, you should, doesn't mean you will, you should come back to normal levels or pretty close to it, and you should be, good to go.
How much of your capacity, like how much higher does your ceiling get?
A lot.
Okay. Yep. So it's obviously just building more muscle, which increases your force production and whatnot.
It's extremely hard to build. If you see anyone on Instagram, anyone who competes in IFBB or IFBB Pro, I don't think people understand how hard that is to get to that type of physique. Your body can't naturally hold that much muscle tissue on their frame. There's some genetic freaks out there, 1 in a billion, that maybe could.
Like and I seriously, Randy Orton, those sort of guys.
But it's in every sport.
Yeah.
Even golf players aren't on steroids.
They aren't?
They are. They are.
You reckon?
You think about golf, what's involved in golf?
Swinging a golf club.
Exactly. But you're trying to enhance your performance, aren't you?
Yeah.
The difference is bodybuilding, it's not cheating.
Yeah.
And the thing is, everyone's on it. Everyone who competes is on it. But you can't compete against the best unless you're on it. And it's not saying that for an excuse. It's just what it is. If you're doing bodybuilding and you want to compete in the IFBB, just be aware. If you're not on performing enhancing drugs, you will not have a career in it. If you decide that's your route, you want to be damn sure that's what you want to do, because it's a big life decision. Yeah.
Why is it? What is like the main considerations going into it?
Health.
Yeah.
One is doing it correctly, because I'll tell you right now, 99% of people don't know how to do a cycle.
Yeah.
And they also don't do their blood work. Blood work's a big thing. You should be doing every 3-4 months, in my opinion. Okay. You need to see where your lipids are at. You need to see where your blood count's at. You need to see where your liver enzymes are at. You need to see where your kidney function's at, because all the things you can take can have effect on those. Yeah. My bloods have always been good. Doesn't mean they won't. They will be in the future, but you always got to look at your bloods and be like,
be aware of it.
Some things are always going to be elevated because just you're in a super physiological state. So other things have got to come up with it. Yeah. So last time I did my blood test, my test was like 3,600 nanograms per deciliter. Right. Naturals 500 to 700. Okay. Roughly, right? And that wasn't on anything insane. Yeah. I was taking either at the time. Everything else was good. My lipids were good. My HDL, I think, was down by 0.1. My LDL was perfect. I would say when it comes to cholesterol's a lot more food dependent. Okay, yeah. Than drugs. Drugs will affect your cholesterol, but it'll affect it a lot more if your food's terrible.
Is that just like high saturated fat and stuff like that that it comes with? Or?
Yeah, fats are a big part of it, but I think saturated fats are not as bad as people think. Okay. I think it's just the amount of saturated fat we eat these days is way too much. Right. Okay. Because you can make an argument saturated fats are good for you, but I'm not going to make that argument today. Yeah. Because I've got a mixed opinion about it. But it's just food in general, man. If you're eating shit food every day and you go get your bloods done and you're on gear and you're drinking, you're not going to have good lipids. Yeah. But my LDL was really good, and I was vegan at that point. Okay. Still, and even talking to my GP, he believed there's a big reason of why my cholesterol's is good. But I would say your HDL gets affected a lot more from performing enhancing drugs. Yeah.
That's less likely to.
And that's your good cholesterol. Yeah. Your LDL is your bad cholesterol.
So low density lipids, high density lipids, right?
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Other than testosterone, what's the effects of testosterone? Just basic So increased muscle strength.
Yes.
Increased muscle hypertrophy.
Yep.
What else have we got?
Well, it's everything. If you think about what you are as a person,
Mhm.
it's going to enhance you a lot more.
Okay.
So you probably hear roid rage.
Yeah.
'Cause, you know, everyone, if you're on steroids or you roid rage,
Mhm.
it's not exactly true.
Yeah.
You don't get this rage or this anger out of nowhere. I'll say if you're an angry person,
Mhm.
you're gonna be a lot more angry.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're a lot more emotional person, you're gonna be more emotional.
Okay.
So it brings out more of who you are.
Right.
You think because you're thinking it's enhancing who you are.
Yeah.
You know, say if you're more prone to going bald,
Mhm.
it'll happen quicker.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or if you're more prone to having grey hair, you'll start to come on quicker.
Just accelerates.
It accelerates growth,
Yeah.
right? Which doesn't mean just muscle. It can mean like hair. You know, you might lose. You can have hair loss and hair
Mhm.
growth just from the high levels of androgens in your body. Because it can cause hair loss and hair growth, which is
Mhm.
weird. But they're just different receptors in your body. So
Yeah.
when you might lose, hair, your hairline might go back,
Mhm.
which mine hasn't, thank God.
Yeah.
Or you might get grays in your hair
Yeah.
quicker, or you might have more hair growth.
Is it true that you ball shrink?
No,
Okay.
it's not exactly true. Yes, they can
Yeah.
over a long period of time, because the reason is because you're not producing testosterone anymore.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Mhm.
So if you do it for a long period of time and don't come off, obviously we don't need to be here anymore.
Yeah.
We don't need to be this big, because we don't need to produce testosterone
Mhm.
anymore.
Yeah.
Without going too much detail, mine have not changed.
Mhm.
But if I would
On
say,
all the detail, fam.
yeah. But if I did it for an extended period of time and kept going, don't have a break,
Yeah.
they probably would.
Okay.
But the biggest one is, you get a smaller dick.
Yeah.
It's just not possible.
Yeah.
It doesn't make no sense. It makes no sense. I think that must come from, your balls get smaller or something. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like, bodybuilders have small dicks. I'm like, I don't know what bodybuilders you're talking about.
Yeah. Your dick's not producing testosterone, is it?
No, but if you're replacing it with testosterone,
Yeah.
exogenously,
hmm
if anything, when you're on testosterone, you're a lot more horny.
hmm
A lot more. Because
Yeah.
your testosterone's to the roof,
Yeah.
So I don't know how.
He's a horny man. Say less.
No, but yeah, it enhances who you are a lot more.
Mhm.
I'd say in every way.
It's strange that that's a thing in bodybuilding that sort of it's not really regulated.
It's
Do you
just
think
normal.
there's room? I've got to sort of question this carefully, but like, is there anything that sports could take from bodybuilding in terms of performance enhancing drug use, if that makes sense?
You mean if sports take it on?
Yeah, like taking
I've
on.
always
What do you think?
I think it's got a place
hmm
in sport, and I think it's going to sound very controversial,
hmm
but I'll explain what to say. It's healthy,
Okay.
not abusing performing enhancing drugs, but you think of the amount of work we do, the amount of inflammation we produce, the amount of the work we put on these days is insane.
hmm
That if you look at UFC fighters, the amount of training they do,
hmm
they need help.
Yeah.
You can't just recover that quick after doing weight training sessions. You've done it, 3-4 hours on the pads. Just doing that every single day, you can't do that.
Okay.
We as bodybuilders, we're breaking down muscle tissue every single day to an extreme, and promoting inflammation in our body
Yeah.
to an extreme. Is only helping that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why being natural is really hard to put on muscle, because you're creating a lot of inflammation in your body
Yeah.
with nothing to help.
Mhm.
And your body is an unnatural thing.
Yeah.
Most sports are unnatural to the body.
100%.
So
Definitely.
with unnatural sport, it's got to come something unnatural to be able to help that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Because you're trying to do everything in a natural way.
hmm
We're not meant to be here to fucking be 120, 130 kilos.
Yeah.
We're not meant to fight people to the
Yeah.
extreme and do all that type of training
hmm
to be able to fight people like that.
Yeah.
Like UFC.
hmm
We're not meant to do it.
Yeah.
So I think there is a place to an extent. I think other sports don't need to abuse anywhere near like bodybuilders do.
hmm
Another sport it's in though is powerlifting as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Powerlifting it's similar to bodybuilding,
hmm
but I'd say the lead up to a competition is totally different,
Okay.
if that makes sense. The baseline is very similar in terms of what they use, but the lead up is very different in what they take.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
obviously the outcome's different. You're trying to lift just as most weight as you possibly can,
Yeah.
and the other ones you're trying to look, as lean, as shredded, as big as you can,
hmm
holding, as minimum water as you can on the
So
stage.
how do they differ?
Depending on obviously the substance. You know,
Mhm.
some substances will make you hold water.
Yeah.
So a lot of those substances will go
Okay.
through a prep, so we don't hold any water.
Mhm.
And obviously, ones will help harden your tissue more.
Yeah.
And also make you, you know.
What are examples of substances that make you shredded, sort of thing?
I'd say I'll give you the best ones for, say, going to a show. I'll
Mhm.
just list them, no dosages or anything. I'll list them. Testosterone's always in there,
Mhm.
just as a base. It needs to be in there. It can hold water.
Yeah.
Because it converts to estrogen in your body.
Okay.
And estrogen, you know, obviously causes water retention in your body.
Mhm.
Drostanolone, which is people know as masteron,
Okay.
is also another one used there. It doesn't convert to estrogen, so it doesn't hold water.
Mhm.
It's known as like a muscle hardener,
Okay.
and it's derived from DHT.
Right.
And then also, you say primobolan is another one, which is another DHT derivative. And then the one which is used a lot and would probably be in your D class
Mhm.
is trenbolone. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
No, I
or
haven't.
Tren.
Okay.
It's definitely not a nice substance to use.
Okay.
If you want to crash all your blood work, it's a good way to do it. Just
Right.
take
Which
Tren.
is toxic sort of stuff.
Yeah, it is very. Your body doesn't like it.
Mhm.
It tries to reject it. Nearly, it feels like that. If you're ever on Tren, it'll feel like you're trying to reject it.
Okay.
So that's very, very harsh.
Mhm.
But again, it's also dosage dependent.
Yeah.
Most studies on Tren have been done at like 50 milligrams.
Okay.
People on 500,
Yeah.
if that makes
Jesus
sense,
Christ.
which is insane.
Yeah.
Which I will never tell anyone to do that amount
Mhm.
ever.
Yeah.
It's just not needed for
Mhm.
what you're using it for. So those are mostly injectables. They're probably the main ones what would be used through a prep.
Mhm.
And then a lot of orals get used through prep,
Yeah.
which are a lot worse.
Okay.
A lot worse than
Because it
injectables.
affects your gut biome and
It
stuff like
affects
that.
your liver a lot more.
Okay.
So when you take anything through an injection, it goes through your liver once,
Mhm.
obviously. When you take something orally, it'll go through your liver twice.
Okay.
So your liver enzymes will come up a lot more.
Right.
Any type of oral.
Mhm.
Main orals use things like Winstrol,
Mhm.
Anavar. So they're two anabolic steroids,
Mhm.
but are used for cutting. They're hard. You know, Winstrol is more of a hardening agent.
Okay.
They're both anabolic.
Yeah.
Anavar is a lot less stress on your liver. It metabolizes more through your kidney than
Mhm.
your liver. I would say they're your main two anabolic steroids used through a prep.
Mhm.
And then you got other ones like clenbuterol. I don't know if you've heard of that before.
No.
Which is like it's like a fat loss compound.
Okay.
Not great for your heart.
Mhm.
A lot of women use it because
Yeah.
it doesn't have any androgenic effects because it's not a steroid.
Mhm.
But it's actually used for asthma.
Okay. I might
Um,
need to get some of that, fam. I'm an asthmatic.
but even say in China, it's put in the same class as cocaine
Yeah. Okay.
because it makes you very fidgety. You
Mhm.
have shakes, your heart rate increases, your metabolism goes through the roof.
Mhm.
That's what it's used for. More things would be thyroid medication.
Yeah. Okay.
So like T3 and T4,
Mhm.
things like that.
Yeah.
Which I personally don't like.
Yeah.
I don't think you should really be fucking around with your thyroid too
Yeah.
much because it's one thing if you know you fuck your thyroid, it's really hard to get back.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And your metabolism after, if you don't come back off it right, is never going to be the same.
Yeah.
If you do it wrong.
Mhm.
Because obviously you're increasing your metabolism a lot
Yeah.
by taking those thyroid medications.
Mhm.
And you pull it out straight away, your body's not going to like it.
Yeah.
And you know, you finish your prep, you're just going to start putting on fat.
Yeah.
in
For
a different
sure.
way. So they would say they're the main ones. There's
Mhm.
obviously more people might chuck in, chuck out, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not everyone will use all those things
Mhm.
at once or use them at all. You know, they could just be on two of them or
Yeah.
all of them. But that's what I mean. It's someone could be doing one of those things or someone could be doing 8, 9 different compounds.
Yeah.
So it's different when someone says, "Oh, I'm on that, or I'm
Mhm.
enhanced," because there's an extent.
Yeah.
You know,
You could be
know,
on
when
testosterone or all of those.
someone's on drugs, like, what do you want? You know, I drink alcohol, and the next person, you know, does heroin.
Yeah.
You know, it's different. It's
Mhm.
still a drug, but it's the extent you're doing it to.
Okay.
You know, so someone might do, you know, 10 times the testosterone I'm taking,
Mhm.
but we're both enhanced still.
Yeah.
But no one sees that, you know, he's taking 10 times more.
Yeah.
than me.
It's yes or no.
But it doesn't-
Are you one of the? Or
But
are
you
you
don't.
not?
The
Yeah.
thing is, in the industry, you don't ask people, "Are you natural or are you not natural?"
Yeah.
You know, because it's just you just assume,
Mhm.
and you don't really care either anyway, because you're
Yeah.
all doing it for the same reason.
Mhm.
You know, to compete and do all that, you're not like, oh, you're on 10 times more than me, or I'm on half the amount as you, and I look better than you.
Yeah.
No one cares about what you're on, because at the end of the day, it's whoever looks better.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you take; it's whoever looks better at the end of the day.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
But you also want to be living by the time you get on that stage too.
Yes.
You know, and longevity is a big thing. If you want to be in the industry for a long time and compete for a long time, you got to be smart about what you do.
How do bodybuilders from back in sort of the Arnie era, how have they pulled up from using PEDs to now?
It's a lot different.
Okay.
Well, obviously I wasn't there back in the day.
Yeah,
but I would imagine it's a lot different. Now, obviously, there's a lot more around.
Yeah.
There's a lot more research around. You know, 80s? Roughly,
yeah, around that era.
You know, that's another 40 years of research behind. You know, steroids have been around for a long, long time.
Yeah,
a lot of them. You know, a long, long time. That's the thing. All these, say, SARMs, which is a very newish type of thing right now, which is still a PED. Like some people still think they're natural, they take it, which they're not, because it's still a performing enhancing drug, which is not a steroid. Yeah, they don't have much research behind. Okay, at all. I would say there might be a few human clinical trials on it, but there's not many. Not long ago there was not one. All done on rats. Yeah, okay. So you can buy them offline legally, but they're not for human consumption. Yeah, right. So I'll personally never take them until I see any type of hard evidence, and a lot of it. As you should, because there should be long-term studies on everything that you put into your body, mate. 100%. You know what I mean? I know what you mean. I know what you mean. No, but nearly all steroids have always been used in a medical application. They didn't make them for bodybuilders. Yeah, absolutely. No one would make drugs just, you know, to do bodybuilding. Yeah. You know, so it's always been used in a medical, you know, field. Everything, a lot of things are used for muscle wasting diseases. Yeah. Cancer, things like that. You know, testosterone replacement or HRT, hormone replacement. Yeah. Things like that. So it's obviously just used at a different dosage and different level. But they're always made not for bodybuilding. Yeah. That's what people don't understand. Is medicine. Yeah. And yeah, you're just manipulating it to suit your benefit or your purpose sort of thing. We're using medicine to basically, you know, help ourselves recover, help ourselves build muscle. Yeah. You know, to be better. But it's just the extent you're using that too, because it's still a drug at the end of the day. Yeah. But I don't think people see it as a medicine. Yeah, they see it as a PED. That's what it is, isn't it? It's got a massive taboo against it, right? It does. It does. Do I look dead, unhealthy? No. No. Yeah, the opposite. But someone who takes them might, because they just don't take care of themselves. So it's you know, I'm not afraid to say I'm on performing enhancing drugs, because there's a lot of people out there that are. Yeah. And a lot of them will say they're not. And even if they say they're not, I'm going to say, oh, you are. I already know that, but I don't care. I don't care if you're on PEDs or not. I don't ask someone next to me, oh, do you do cocaine? Yeah. You know, do you smoke weed? I don't care. Yeah. It's your choice. It's your body. I'm not going to judge you for something you put in your body, but just don't judge me for something I put in mine. Yeah. Mate, I never saw myself doing this. Yeah. Mate, you know, I've got a massive phobia of needles. Yeah, right. Extreme phobia. True. Like when I was going through high school, or even just school, primary school in general, I used to have seizures. Yeah, okay. Not from taking them. Just looking at them and thinking being there. Yeah. Like I've had places when I was at woodwork at school, and I fainted because I'm like, oh my God, if I cut myself with rust, I'm going to need a tetanus shot. My brain just gone. Faint, you know, seizure. Yeah. You know, I remember I was in singing class once in primary school, and we were like, you know, singing together, and I was just, for some reason, I thought of a needle. Gone, blacked out. Jesus That's how Christ. Extreme my phobia was. Don't do it now then. So when people say it's just, I'm doing it the easy way out, I'm like, no, I'm not, because every time I put this in my body, I really don't want to, because I hate them more than anything. Yeah. Not because I hurt, because they don't. Everyone thinks I hurt. It's just a phobia, man. I think it was since I was 4 years old. I had a few needles when I was 4. I don't remember it, but I think from then is when I've just had that phobia. Yeah. There must have been some type of trauma behind it. Yeah. And it just made me resist any type of needle. Like if I got stabbed, you know, with a knife, I wouldn't care. Yeah. But that doesn't faze me in my mind. Yeah. Being touched by a little, you know, half-inch, you know, 25 gauge needle. Yeah. It phases me a lot. You know? That's nuts. But yeah, let's make that clear. Do not take performance-enhancing drugs. And I'm not a doctor either. And he's not a doctor either. But no. Yeah, for bodybuilders, it is required if you want to get to that elite level. Yes. Do you only see yourself doing bodybuilding? Like, is that your only thing? Or would you go into like strongman stuff or powerlifting? Powerlifting I've got a lot of respect for, but I would never do it. Okay. Just because I don't enjoy it. Yeah. Not because I'm not strong. I'm definitely, if I train that way, I could definitely get to that level. Yeah. Like say, I could go do a powerlifting meet and just do bench press and probably do very, very, very well. But that I'm just naturally strong at pressing.
Yeah.
But I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy just picking up weight and just doing one rep.
Yeah.
I enjoy, the look. I enjoy, pushing myself to like the absolute limit. Seeing how far I can push my body before it breaks.
Yeah.
But I don't enjoy just picking one, weight up once and just chucking it down and that's done.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd enjoy watching it and I'll go watch, a powerlifting meet or something like that. But myself, no.
Yeah.
I'll always be bodybuilding. If I'm bodybuilding, if I'm coaching, it'll be bodybuilding.
So you've got a clear vision of where you want to be and where you want that path to lead down. But what could you have done differently 5 years ago? What advice would you have given to yourself to sort of improve where you are now?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No.
You've done it, mate.
I don't have regrets, mate.
Yeah.
I would say 5 years ago, I don't like going back because I always think if I change one thing, my whole life's changed today.
Yeah, okay.
You ever see like a movie or TV show, they change one little thing, go back, change one little thing.
Yeah.
And they come back, it's totally different.
Not the same.
One thing changes a lot of things in life.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, I didn't like what happened or things hurt or trauma, but it's made me who I am today.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if I went back 5 years ago and changed it today, I don't know who I'd be today.
Is there any advice that you'd give to yourself though? Like, not at all.
No.
Even like, I don't know, lessons that you've learned that, or do you just say that shaped me for who I am now?
Yeah. I hate thinking, I would hate to think, I wish I did something different.
Yeah.
I probably would. I probably do, but I just don't like thinking that way. And I don't think you should think that way. So I think it's really unhealthy. I hear there's actually a lot of people say, I wish I started earlier. Who might be older than me because, I wish I started at your age. That's one thing I get a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, just be happy you started.
Yeah. Okay.
Because a lot of people would never start. Or there's a lot of people out there that never have a purpose or find their purpose. Yeah. Or never do something they love. Yeah. So when someone finds it and be like, oh, fuck, I wish I did this earlier. I'm like, nah, be happy that you found it.
Yeah. Okay.
And be happy, because not many people get that. A lot of people live, go through life not finding what they love to do. Yeah. Not finding their why. They might think they did. Yeah. Or just, fluff around, but they didn't actually find what they're passionate about. So when you get that, be happy and don't be regrets and be like, oh, I wish 5 years ago that I did this because I could be there quicker. Yeah. Yeah, but everyone could say that. If I was 6'6" and black, I could be Michael Jordan, bro. Yeah. But I'm not. That didn't happen. Yeah. I didn't, I don't have those genetics. Yeah. That's fair. But yeah, so just be grateful where you are and be grateful for the journey that got you there because that's the one thing I enjoy more than the result is a journey.
The grind is the dream.
I stepped on stage, man, for 10 minutes? Yeah. I prepped for a lot longer than that. Yeah. And you're like, fuck, I just want to get there. Just be on the day, you just want to get this over with. You don't actually want to get on stage. You don't care about it anymore. Yeah. You're just like, I want to get on the stage, get this over, eat some Krispy Kremes, eat some donuts, eat some brownies, go eat some pizza, some burgers, some chips. Because all it was about, and then you're like, fuck, it was actually about the journey. Yeah. Not the destination. But I think the destination is what makes that journey. Yeah. Because you're like, I want to get there.
That's the drive, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, I'll do anything to get there. Then you get there, you're like, I did all that. And that's what that was about. The journey. Like when you look back at life, you got to death, didn't you? That's where you finished. Yeah. We didn't do all this to get there. No. So it's about when you're like on your deathbed, you're like, that journey is pretty sick. Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm like, make your journey awesome. Because when that book closes, no one cares what happened at the end. Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, I want to get to the end. And then like, oh, that's it. So why make that book as good as it can be through the whole thing? Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. There's rough parts, peaks and valleys. But you got to be happy with the person you are. Yeah. And if you're not, you got to make changes. 100%. But don't regret what happened in your past because that made you who you are. That's today. Big. You know what I mean?
Like that. Yeah, for sure. Kobe said that in his retirement speech.
Oh, might have copied him.
No, but it's true. He's one of the GOATs. No, the grind is the dream. You got to put in that work. Like, I think Frank Lampard, who played for Chelsea, like his goal was to always win the Champions League or the Premier League or something like that. And then he held up the trophy and he was like, what's this pot doing in my hand?
It's just a piece of plastic, man. Yeah. Or whatever it is.
It's a material item. It's that's the goal that you're trying to reach to become the best person that you want to be. Like that is the motivating factor, but it's the days that you wake up early and you put in that graft and you find yourself and then you become a better person. That's your actual end goal, trying to become the best person possible. It's not to get that little tin pot or a medal around your neck. Like, it's the experience that you go through in life to get there and whatnot.
100%.
So having said that, where do you want to lead to in 5 years? Like in 5 years' time, you'll be 25. You'll be a year into your competing by then. What do you want to be? Where do you want to be with Doherty Physiques, your career, your competing? Just everything in general, your business and whatnot.
By 25, I would definitely like to think I'm a pro. I don't want to be a pro too early because I don't want to become a pro, go compete, in America, over, wherever it is, and come, last. Everyone's so excited, I'm a pro, and they'd stop.
Yeah.
Because they got that title, IFBB pro or ICN pro. They're like, look at me, I'm a pro.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Who becomes a pro and doesn't go compete? You
Yeah.
know? So when I become a pro, I want to be competitive. I want to be, look like a pro. So by 25, I would hope that's the case.
Yeah.
So like I said, when I'm 22, in 2024, I'd like to compete again. And I'd like to think I'd be pretty close.
Yeah.
I know that's pretty young to become a pro, but there's people that have done it. And 2 years of growth, I've just, the last 2 years have been insane. 30 odd kilos in 2 years of lean tissue. I won't do that again because you just can't grow the same as you go. But if I got, even 60%, 50% of that, it's a lot of weight. It makes a big difference, especially when you're lean and you put on that lean tissue. Big difference. So in 5 years, I'd like to be a pro. I'd hope I'd be able to travel to different countries to compete.
That'd be nice.
That'd be very nice.
Let me out, please.
maybe another reason I'm not competing right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to travel the world. I'd love to possibly live in a different country. And do what I love. Yeah. With people I love. But the number one thing for me in 5 years is me to still be doing what I love with passion. Be healthy. Make sure my family's healthy. Yeah. Happy, taken care of. And mate, if all those things are happening, if I'm doing what I love, if I'm passionate with what I'm doing well at what I'm passionate with what I'm doing, and everyone's healthy and happy, I'm a happy man.
You'll be exactly where you want to be.
Exactly. I just want to be the best I can be in bodybuilding, and if I can keep doing that and give it my all when I'm there, and damn right I will be there. That's all I ask. You've
got it. You've always had that drive. I remember in high school, just like going out, doing your coaching so early on, like being an athlete early on. Like you've always had this drive, and you're 20 years old, and there's not many people like you at this age that have that drive and that focus and that purpose, and especially to already have 4 years of experience working towards that. Like, yeah, definitely. It's massive. It's going to hold you in good stead.
Yeah, it's a bit weird to think I've been doing it for like the whole thing for, over 4 years.
Yeah. 20 years old, man.
Yeah,
people don't usually start that until your age.
Bodybuilding, 2 years. I've probably been unnatural for a year and a half, maybe. Yeah. I still knew about a lot of it before I started. And if anyone ever does it, I would suggest doing the same thing, or make sure you have someone that knows what they're doing, not just guessing. Yeah. It's very, very important. But that whole year and a half I've been on stuff, I've been healthy, happy, good, you learn a lot as you go. You might change things as you go, but I should have done that a bit better. But it's part of the journey. Learn, live and you learn.
That's it. 100%. We'll finish the podcast here. Thanks for coming on. Is there anything that you'd like to plug or anything before we sign off?
Not really. Just thank you for having me, man. And I'm sure we'll do this again another day.
I'd love to do it when my interface worked again. That'd be sweet. But yeah, thanks for coming on. Go check out Zac's IG, Doherty Physiques. Go follow it up and watch this space. See where this big man is in a few years. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you next week. Take care.